Hello, future doctors. Hello, pre-med students. My name's Dax, and I'm a first-year medical student, and I want to give you some advice on your medical school personal statements. There's something that a lot of people are doing that is absolutely killing their personal statement, and so you need to hear this, okay? Your essay is not a place to trauma dump. I know that a lot of people have had struggles, but if every paragraph that you are writing ends in pain and not in progress, you're missing the entire point of the essay, okay? So the goal of this video today is to fix that. So this structure is way too common. Too many personal statements look like this. Paragraph 1, somebody died. Paragraph 2, I got sick. Paragraph 3, life was so hard. And then paragraph 4, because of all this, I want to be a doctor. Okay, this structure is all too common. And here is the problem. It doesn't show emotional intelligence. It doesn't show growth, maturity, or motivation. It just shows hardship, okay? And admissions committees aren't therapists. They're gatekeepers. And so your job is to show that you're ready for this career, not just that your life has been hard. And so the goal of your personal statement is to show why you want to be a doctor. It's meant to highlight your growth and reflect on a lot of the key moments in your life. It needs to be a story of transformation. And so you should be talking about challenges, but they should serve as pivot points, not as punchlines. So you need to end them with clarity and with purpose. And so this is my personal statement. I'm guilty. I know. I did this in my personal statement and I still got into medical school. Look, if I could go back and do it again, I would. But let me read it to you guys. This is the first paragraph. I saw my family's old Durango pull into the parking lot of the field where I was having football practice. It was halfway through practice, and I figured my dad was just coming to watch me before he picked me up to go home. However, he got out of the car and waved me over with an urgent look on his face. I told my coaches that I would return, and I ran over to the car. I hopped in the back seat to find my dad holding his cell phone. He said it was my grandmother on the other line. At this point, my grandmother had been suffering from colon cancer for over a year. As a 9-year-old boy, I watched as the disease progressed and the treatments took a toll on my grandmother's body and spirit. So when my grandma urgently wanted to talk to me halfway through my football practice, I knew something wasn't right. She told me that it might be the last time I would talk to her because she felt it was almost her time to go. I cried and told her I loved her, and I was introduced to the horrible disease that is cancer. Right? That is very, very heavy. It's very sad. It was a very sad time from when I was a kid. And it was a very, very formative experience for me when I was young. But I don't show that in this writing. Right? I don't show any growth or any progress or any lessons from this. Right? So if the goal of the personal statement is to show why you want to be a doctor, you can't just kind of come trauma dump and expect people to understand. You need to show from your challenges and from your traumas and from the sad times in your life how you grew and how that pushed you to want to be a doctor. Okay, so I rewrote this. I revised it, and if I were to do it again, this is how I would have done it. So I saw my family's old Durango pull into the parking lot during football practice. I assumed my dad was just coming to watch me before picking me up. But when he stepped out and waved me over with an urgent look, I knew something was wrong. I ran to the car and climbed into the back seat where my dad handed me his phone. It was my grandmother. She had been battling colon cancer for over a year, and even as a 9-year-old, I had seen how the disease had slowly worn down both her body and spirit. She told me she felt it was her time and that this might be our last conversation. I cried and told her I loved her. That moment was heartbreaking, but it also planted something in me. I realized how powerless I felt in the face of illness. And I knew even then that I wanted to be someone who could bring comfort, clarity, and care to patients and families during their hardest moments. I didn't just witness cancer that day. I began to understand the kind of presence I wanted to be in others' lives. Okay, still very sad, still very heavy, But we see there how I turned it into a lesson for myself. I focus on the growth, okay? So every paragraph that you write should end with one of the following: either a skill gained, a mindset shift, a step towards medicine, or a moment of growth. Okay, this is the golden rule. I don't care how sad, intense, or dramatic the experience is, resolve it somehow, right? Make sure every paragraph closes with some kind of takeaway or forward momentum. Otherwise, you're just listing sad events instead of just building a story. So, when you are writing, your reader should think that they've grown. They're ready for medicine. They bring hope, right? Your readers are physicians or people who spend a lot of time around healthcare. So they've seen hard things, right? They respect resilience. They know what you're going through. And what they want is to admit someone who brings clarity and calm and um, direction in chaos, not someone who is still stuck in the storm. Okay? And so just a quick recap and some final tips. Talk about the hard things, but don't just relive them. Resolve them. That's what makes a powerful personal statement is the story arc, right? It's the hero's journey. All of the Lord of the Rings movies and Star Wars, all those movies, there's a journey and an arc that the hero goes through to become the hero of the story. And so your personal statement is showing your journey to medical school and why you should be there. Okay? So that's what makes an applicant memorable. So again, my name's Dax. This is the Pre-Med Machine. I'm going to try and post more videos like this more often, so you can like and subscribe if you want to. I hope you learned something from this. And again, I understand everyone has challenges and sad things in their lives. That's important to your growth as a person. And the important thing is showing that you have overcome them and that you've grown. Okay? So stay tuned. I'm going to post more videos like this. We'll see you next time.